Imagine this. You're standing alone in a vast, unforgiving desert. The wind howls through endless dunes, tugging at your clothes, whispering secrets of a world forgotten. The sun dips below the horizon, igniting the sky in a blaze of gold and crimson, as if the heavens themselves are on fire. Then, out of the silence, a bush erupts in flames before your eyes. But here's the twist. It doesn't burn. The leaves remain green, untouched by the inferno. And suddenly, a voice, deep, resonant, unlike anything you've ever heard, calls your name. Your heart stops. This isn't a dream. This is real. This is exactly what happened to Moses on Mount Horeb, a moment that would not only shatter his world but ripple through the ages, unveiling a truth so profound it still shakes us today. Moses wasn't always a desert wanderer. Once, he was a prince of Egypt, draped in luxury, surrounded by unimaginable riches, golden palaces, servants at his beck and call, the power of a kingdom at his fingertips. But that life crumbled when he killed an Egyptian to defend one of his own people. Forced to flee, he traded royalty for the rugged wilderness, spending 40 long years as a shepherd, tending sheep under the scorching sun. The man who once dined with Pharaoh now walked among rocks and dust, forgotten by the world, or so he thought. But God hadn't forgotten him, not for a second. That day on Mount Horeb, everything changed. As Moses led his flock, his eyes caught something impossible. A bush ablaze, yet alive, its flames dancing without consuming. Curiosity pulled him closer. Then the voice thundered, "Moses, Moses!" The ground beneath his sandals trembled, declared holy by the presence speaking from the fire. He froze, heart pounding, as God spoke again. "I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob." Overwhelmed, Moses hid his face, terrified to gaze upon the Almighty. This was no ordinary encounter. This was the creator of the universe, stepping into the life of a broken man. God had a mission. He had seen the misery of his people, enslaved in Egypt, their cries piercing the heavens under the lash of their oppressors. "I have come down to rescue them," he declared, "and you, Moses, will lead them out." Moses, a fugitive, a shepherd, a man who thought his story was over, chosen to confront the mightiest empire on earth. Doubt flooded his mind. Who am I to do this, he must have thought. What if they ask me who sent me? What's your name? And then God answered with words that would echo through eternity. "I am who I am. Tell them I am has sent you." Pause for a moment. Let that sink in. Not I was, not I will be. Simply I am. This wasn't just a name, it was a seismic declaration of God's eternal nature. He's not bound by time, not limited by human frailty. He is the self-existent one, the source of all life, the unshakable foundation of reality itself. For the Israelites, crushed under centuries of slavery, this name was a lifeline. Their God wasn't some distant idol carved from stone. He was alive, present, and ready to move. But this revelation wasn't just for Moses or the Israelites. It's for you too, right now. Think about it. Today we chase money, luxury, status, building our lives on shifting sands, believing these things will save us. But what if the true source of power, security, and purpose lies in the name spoken on that mountain? Stay with me, because this story is about to get even bigger, and if you stick around, you'll uncover a secret most people never grasp. Before we dive deeper, let me ask you something. Do you want more than fleeting riches? Do you crave a truth that transforms? If so, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. What you're about to hear could change everything. Moses stood there, sandals off, heart racing, the weight of God's call pressing down on him. I am wasn't just a title, it was a promise. But could he trust it? He'd lost everything, his wealth, his status, his home. Now, God was sending him back to Egypt to face Pharaoh, the man who once called him brother. Fear gnawed at him. What if I fail, he wondered. What if they don't believe me? But I am wasn't asking for Moses' strength. He was offering his own. Picture the scene. Moses returns to Egypt, staff in hand, standing before Pharaoh's towering throne. The air is thick with tension. Pharaoh, dripping in gold, surrounded by advisors and guards, laughs at this ragged shepherd. "Who is this I am, that I should obey him?" he sneers. "I don't know him, and I won't let Israel go." Big mistake. Pharaoh didn't just defy Moses, he defied the God who spoke the world into being. And what happened next was a display of power so raw, so undeniable, it would be told for millennia. The 10 plagues descended like a storm. First the Nile, the lifeblood of Egypt, their pride, their wealth turned to blood. Fish died, crops withered, and the people choked on the stench. This wasn't just a river gone bad, it was a judgment on Egypt's gods, a slap to their false power. Then came frogs, swarming homes and beds, gnats and flies, a relentless plague of torment, livestock dropping dead in the fields, boils erupting on skin, hail crashing from the sky, smashing their pride to pieces. Each strike proved one thing: the idols Egypt worshipped, stone, gold, sun, were nothing before I am. Still, Pharaoh dug in his heels. So God sent locusts to devour what remained, then plunged Egypt into 3 days of suffocating darkness. The sun god Ra, their mightiest deity, silenced. But the final blow was the most devastating. In one night, the angel of death swept through, claiming every firstborn son, every home wailing, every heart broken. Only those marked by the blood of a lamb were spared, a shadow of a greater sacrifice to come. Pharaoh's empire, built on slavery and arrogance, crumbled. He relented. The Israelites walked free. Feel the weight of that. Moses doubted, but I am delivered. The plagues weren't just punishment, they were proof. No king, no wealth, no power can stand against the one who simply is. And here's the kicker. This same power isn't locked in the past. It's alive today, ready to break chains in your life. What's your Egypt? What's holding you captive? I am sees it, and he's calling you out. Centuries passed, but I am never faded. The Israelites clung to that name through wilderness and war, through triumph and exile. Prophets like Isaiah heard it again. I am he, the first and the last. It was a reminder God doesn't change, but the story was about to take a turn no one saw coming. Enter Jesus, born in a manger, not a palace, raised a carpenter's son, not a prince. He didn't wield armies or wear crowns, yet his words carried a weight that stopped people in their tracks. One day, in the temple courts, the religious leaders cornered him. "Who do you think you are?" they demanded. Jesus looked them in the eye and said, "Before Abraham was, I am." The crowd gasped. Stones were raised. Why? Because they knew exactly what he meant. He wasn't just a man. He was claiming to be the God of the burning bush, the God of Moses, the eternal I am in human flesh. They couldn't handle it. But Jesus didn't stop. "I am the bread of life," he declared, promising to feed souls starved by this world. "I am the light of the world, piercing the darkness of despair. I am the good shepherd, laying down his life for his sheep. I am the way, the truth, and the life, the only path to eternity." Each word was a thunderclap, echoing the power of Mount Horeb. And when he said, "I am the resurrection and the life," he stared death in the face and promised victory over it. The leaders hated him for it. They dragged him to trial. "Are you the Son of God?" the high priest barked. Jesus' answer? "I am." The room erupted. They called it blasphemy, nailed him to a cross, and buried him in a tomb. They thought they'd won. They thought I am could be silenced, but 3 days later the stone rolled away. Jesus walked out, alive, unstoppable, the living proof that I am conquers all. Take a breath. This isn't just history. This is reality. The same God who freed slaves and raised the dead is reaching out to you. Right now, will you listen? But the story doesn't end with the resurrection. Fast forward to the book of Revelation. Jesus appears again, not as a humble teacher, but as a king in blazing glory. His eyes burn like fire, his voice roars like a waterfall, and he holds the stars in his hand. "I am the Alpha and the Omega," he proclaims, "the beginning and the end, who is, who was, and who is to come, the Almighty." The same I am who spoke to Moses, who walked as Jesus, now stands ready to return. Picture it: empires fall, riches turn to dust, every knee bows. The world as we know it, obsessed with money, power, luxury, collapses under the weight of his presence. Pharaoh thought he could defy I am. The leaders thought they could kill him. They were wrong. And one day, every illusion of human strength will shatter. I am will reign forever. What does that mean for you? Everything. History isn't random. Chaos doesn't win. I am is in control, yesterday, today, tomorrow. The question is, where do you stand? Are you chasing things that fade, or trusting the one who endures? Here's the truth. I am isn't just a name from the past, it's a call to you now. Moses felt unworthy, but I am made him a deliverer. The Israelites were enslaved, but I am set them free. Jesus died, but I am raised him up. And today he sees you, your struggles, your doubts, your dreams. He's not looking at your failures, he's offering his power. This world pushes money, status, luxury, temporary fixes that leave you empty. But I am offers more. peace that lasts, purpose that matters, life that never ends. Moses asked, "Who am I?" God answered, "I am enough." Jesus said, "I am the way." The invitation is the same for you. So what's your move? How has this hit you? Are you living for I am or distracted by what fades? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your story. If this stirred something in you, smash that like button as a shout to the one who never changes. Subscribe and hit the bell. There's more to uncover, and you won't want to miss it. Watch the video on screen next. It'll take you deeper. And if this moved you, share it with someone who needs it. I am isn't just a name, it's your lifeline. How will you respond?